You hold the key on that.
Okay.
Okay. Good evening. I call this meeting to order in accordance with Section 5 of the Open Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Laws, 1975. Be advised that notice of this meeting was made by posting on the bulletin board, Town Hall, and serving the officially designated newspapers a notice stating that this meeting would take place at Town Hall at 7:30 p.m. on May 2nd, 2024. First, we'll start with a roll call, right? Yeah.
So Mrs. Canfield is absent. Mr. Davis?
Here.
Mr. Franco?
Here.
Mrs. Gaylord? Here. Mrs. Black? Here. Mrs. Wonga is absent. Mr. Jenkins?
Here.
And Mr. Seelan is absent.
So, yeah, my name is Zach Davis. I'm the vice chair, and I'm taking, running the meeting in Chair Canfield's absence tonight. The first order of business is to swear in our alternate number 2, Venkatesh Chattavalada, Class C, and I'll leave it to council.
Will you stand and raise
Sure.
your right hand, please? Repeat after me. Say your name after I say the word I. I
Venkatesh Chattalavada,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I bear truth, fair, and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people.
and that I will faithfully,
And then I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform the duties
perform the duties
of the member of Historic Preservation Commission
of the member of Historic Preservation Committee
of the Township of Milburn
of the Township of Milburn
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so that was the business of approving a member. All right, so now we're going to approve the meeting minutes from last month, April. Those were circulated and everyone hopefully had a chance to review them. Are there any comments on the meeting minutes? All right, so can we take a vote on who can
Yes.
approve those?
So the only two that
Yeah.
can is Mr. Jenkins
Yes.
and Mrs. Black.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the April 4th meeting.
All right, can I have a second?
Second. I wasn't here.
You have to
second.
Yes.
Second. All right, so I'm assuming you can just, yeah, it's unanimous, great. Okay, so thank you for that. Now we move on to new business. And I'm going to note that a few items are going to be carried to next month, starting with the first item, the motion on the proposed Marywood Nottingham Local Historic District. We'll be carrying that discussion to next month, given the absence of Chair Canfield tonight. So that'll be June. Number 2, application number 574-121 Highland Avenue, block 2201, lot 8, contributing property, Short Hills Park Historic District. That application is being carried to next month, so that is that'll be for June
And Chair, that's carried without further notice.
without further notice.
No further public notice.
Okay. All right. So we'll hear that next month. Item number 3. Application number 575-85 Stewart Road, block 3103, lot 5, contributing property to the Short Hills Park Historic District. This item is also being carried without further notice
Correct.
to the next month's meeting in June. So moving along, item number 4. This is application number 569-141 Forest Drive, block 3004, lot number 3. This is a non-contributing property to the Short Hills Park Historic District. Richard and Stephanie Gelbin applicants. This is a regulatory application for the tear down of an existing house due to fire damage and construction of a new single-family residence with other exterior site improvements. So those who are here, please come forward to be sworn in. Oh, they're not here. Sorry.
I spoke to them today. I don't know why.
Can we
Just move it down
move
the
on?
agenda.
Yeah, all right. So we'll move on to the next application and come back. All right, moving quickly through our agenda. This is great. All right. You know I move things along. All right, number 5 on our list here. Application number 579, 91 Western Drive, Block 2202, Lot 9. This is a contributing property to the Short Hills Park Historic District. 91 Western E LLC and 91 Western B LLC applicant. Regulatory application for renovations and construction of a rear addition, carriage house, and breezeway with other associated exterior site improvements. So you're here, so those who wish to present need to be sworn in. And
I'm the attorney for the LLC.
Oh,
Okay.
fine, okay, good. All right, the three of you, and we'll take your names in a moment, but raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you will provide on the application tonight to the commission will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Go ahead. Tell us your names and spelling.
Hirsch, HIRSCH, and I'm the landscape architect. Jenna James, or
Ilana Wilf, ELANA, WILM.
Mark Don, DAHM, attorney for the LLCs.
okay, you can proceed with your presentation.
I'm here because the LLCs need to be represented by an attorney. The LLCs are 91 Western E LLC and 91 Western B LLC. Alana Wilf will start, give just a little background, and then John James and Brian Hirsch are going to speak about the application. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, everyone. Good evening. My name is Ilana Wilf, and my husband over there, Brett Tansman, and I are the homeowners at 91 Western Drive. We moved into the home almost 9 years ago when I was pregnant with our oldest daughter, who is now almost 9 years old. And so it's really, I just swore to tell the truth. My memory's not great. I think she's almost 9 years old. It's coming up soon. So we've really been fortunate to live in this amazing town, and to live in this beautiful home and property. We really have treasured our time here, and have put our time and effort into keeping the home and improving the property to adapt to our growing family. We now have 3 children, and the presentation that you're going to hear from John James, who I'll turn it over to in a moment, is really to make some changes to the home to adapt to our growing family, to change the bathrooms, to add a garage structure, as you'll hear more from John James. And we're hoping that this just enhances the property, keeps it in keeping with the beautiful historic nature of the home that we fell in love with, and enables us to continue to enjoy it for many, many years with our growing family. So thank you all for your time. I'll turn it over to John.
I have a whole set of boards that I'm going to present that are the same as the drawings you have.
So Mr. James, there's nothing new that I need to mark as an exhibit?
Yes, I'm going to mark this multiple.
Okay,
um,
so we'll call it A1.
Yes.
Fine.
And I brought copies.
Thank you very much.
All of the board members, just so you.
Thank you.
And this will, the rest of the drawings that I'm going to present tonight are the same that were included in the filing packet, as well as the photographs included there also. The Tansman residence is located at 91 Western Drive in Short Hills. It is a designated property in the Short Hills Park Historic District. It was built in 1911 in a Dutch colonial revival style. The main feature of the house is a gambrel roof design, thus the Dutch colonial revival style. And it is a white clapboard house with a brick foundation and a slate roof. And we will be matching all of the existing materials in the house with the new work. And we have a photograph at the end of our packet that we gave to you that shows a lot of that detail and lists all the things that we're going to be matching. I'll go through that later on. The unusual feature of this house, though, is that it's sited on a very high property close to the street. It's probably 3 stories above Western Drive, and you have to enter from a driveway along the side, and you really arrive at the house at the back of the house. So you come from Western Drive and you arrive here. So essentially in this house, the back of the house is the front of the house, and very few guests arrive at the front door unless they walk completely around the house once they've driven up the driveway, because nobody can walk up the heavily planted hill to the front door. So the front door that we're showing you in these renderings is kind of an unseen sight for all the neighbors or for any visitors to the Tanzman house. And you can see that the side view showing the front of the house. The additions we're doing, therefore, are in the back of the house and are trying to accommodate this new entry to the main house. So the main emphasis of this project is to create a courtyard in the back for entering for the family and for guests. And we're also trying to update the house for the Tanzman family, their 3 young children, and to try to make the house more connected to the rest of the property. So we're doing a courtyard and landscaping and new rooms along the back of the house that have a lot of glass and will face the gardens and the yard. We've been before this board a couple of times before. We were here in 2016 for a pool house approval and received that unanimously. And you can see that it is a structure that's very similar to the Gambrel Center portion of the new carriage house that we're creating as a part of the addition for this house. We also received approval for new stone piers and gates, and that was in 2020. And so now we're ready to kind of work on the rest of the house and complete the house renovations itself and to try to create the master plan for the landscaping as well. 91 Western Drive is a really beautiful property. It was a part of a much larger estate originally, but it still has the main pool and it has the arbor structure from that previous estate. And you can see that on the site plan. Brian's going to talk more about that in the landscaping, but you can see that back here. And so we've assembled the same team that worked on the other couple of projects to work on the house as well. And we intend to treat the house in the same way that we treated the previous renovations in terms of matching and adapting to this house. I'd like to say that for this proposal that we're doing, there are no zoning variances required for any of the work. We're way under on building coverage. We're at 7.2%, where 13% is required. So we're almost at 50%. For lot coverage, we're at 31.2%, where 35% is allowed. So we're 10% under the allowable there, 3.5%. And the floor area ratio is at 9.9%, where 25% is allowed. So relative to the property and what we're doing, this is not a major renovation. Relative to this house, these are more major because it's going to transform the way this family uses the house. And towards that end, I want to go through all the drawings and kind of show you what we're doing. So on the site plan, you can see the driveway comes in from the street. And when you've driven up the driveway and through the entrance gates, view number 1 that I showed you in the perspectives is the side view of the house. And this volume of the house is remaining totally unchanged, but we are taking the previous garage and we're making that a family room with a kitchen, and we're putting new bathroom windows up above. But the rest of the facade, the overall shape of the house and the volume of the house is totally the same. As you come closer towards the back, you can see view number 2 on the perspectives, and this shows you at the driveway scene where the old garage, new family room is. You're seeing the new carriage house at the end of the driveway. View number 3 is from back in the yard. We cut out a bunch of Brian's trees so that you'd actually be able to see the house through the trees. But you can see the existing house structure, the new addition at the back, and the carriage house on the right-hand side. And then view number 4 is showing the view that no one really sees. This is the front gambrel roof of the house. And you can see the breezeway, the enclosed breezeway, and the carriage house here on the left of the house. So when we go back to the site plan, the main structure of the house is here in an L shape. We have an addition here behind, and we have the carriage house here so that at the end of the driveway, you can drive directly into it. And then the breezeway gives you a connection back into the main portion of the house for entry and for all the services that you need. If we go to the floor plans, there's really too much to talk about the basement. We will probably build a full foundation underneath the new additions on the back of the house because it's normally better to dig a full foundation and be directly adjacent to the existing footings of the main house instead of having to do any underpinning or anything like that. On the first floor of the house, you can see here, we've kept all the main rooms along the front of the house. The breakfast room, the dining room, the main entry, the living room, and the study. And what we're working on is we're closing the existing garage and turning that into a family room that's connected to an expanded kitchen. And then we're building these services along the back of the house. This is a unique house in a way in that all of the rooms go front to back and you can only circulate through the room. So upstairs, the problem with the bedroom and bathrooms is the hallway's always between everything. So we're doing some services on the back of the house. We have a pantry, we're stacking closets so we can have a future elevator. So this can be a house that you can age gracefully in at any age. It also provides access for grandparents and other visitors. Powder room, and we have kind of a greenhouse conservatory piece with the glass that looks out towards the yard. And then there's a breezeway connection to the 3-car garage here. Up on the second floor, we did the same thing in terms of maintaining all the major rooms, the primary bedroom and the other 3 children's bedrooms here. But instead of keeping the hallway, we've moved the bathrooms adjacent to all the bedrooms. And we have an upstairs family room, playroom, and the circulation goes through that room instead of having the hallway. And that's along the back and has windows that overlook the courtyard and also look out to the arbor and to the pool in the back. And then you can see the 1-story connection to the carriage house over here. And you can see, we're updating all the bathrooms and the laundry room, but all of the main rooms in the house are staying where they were before. If we look at the elevations for the facade on drawing 820, you can see the front facade is pretty much as it was before, and you can see the addition with the breezeway on the left-hand side, and the carriage house is then further behind that. We're changing a couple of windows, replacement windows on the front of the house, and we are replacing the front door. It's an old Dutch door that's kind of falling apart, so we're going to recreate that to match exactly what it is, but it'll be a newly functioning door. And we have a couple of good door manufacturers that can do that. You can then see on the back of the house, the opposite side, here's the gambrel shape that's on the existing garage, which is now the family room. You can see the new addition in between here, directly behind the back of the house. And at the edge of that, we created another small gambrel, which is over a part of the conservatory here and here. This is that upstairs family room that looks out. And then this is the 1-story breezeway connecting here to the garage structure. If we look at drawing A21, this shows the existing side of the house here, which we saw in the entryway perspective. And you can see here, this is where the existing breakfast room is. This is the existing primary bedroom suite, primary bathroom, laundry room, guest room. This is the new windows in the existing garage, which is becoming the family room. And we're replacing the windows and adapting those in the kitchen for the new kitchen layout. The overall roof line, shapes, gables is completely the same as it was. So really the front two facades of the house that you see are largely untouched, and the addition is wedged back in the inner part of that L shape. And then if you look at the other end of the house, you can see the gambrel shape of the main house here. We added a third window in the bays down below for the study to bring in a little more light. And then you can see here is the connection through the breezeway. This is the addition on the back of the house right here. And then we're looking at the existing wall, the far part of the house, which has the upstairs study. It has the guest bedroom. This is the new family room and the kitchen entry door there. We also did drawings of the carriage house as well. And what we're creating here, the existing house has what's called a two-car garage, but it can really only hold one car. It's not wide enough, so if you pull two cars in, you can't open the doors. We're creating a three-car garage. We're in a four-car zone, but that would be too large for the property, so we settled at a three-car garage because that would fit in the edge of the courtyard. It's a two-story structure, and it connects with a one-story breezeway back to the main house. And the interesting part that Brian's going to talk about is you're able to enter the cars on grade here, and because of the steep slope of the site at that point, we have an exercise room with a bedroom and bathroom above it. You're able to go out the back door here and step down just a couple of steps to grade. So while it appears as two-story on the renderings on the inside, you can see that on the renderings of the outside here, as the hill steps up, that it turns into a one-story structure facing the side yard. This also includes a stair and a closet that could have a future lift if necessary. And you can see here on drawing GO2, these are the elevations with the carriage style doors and the gambrel shape in the middle. We're replicating the same type of dormers from the main house on the sides. We're carrying the gambrel shape through for the main part of that house, which is similar to the front of the main house with its gambrel roof. And then here you can see down at the bottom left, the rear elevation. That's where it steps out onto the upper yard behind it. We have elevations of all the breezeway. We just did separate ones so that you would be able to see the different glass in the house. The idea is to give a transparent but an enclosure between the garage and the house. So you can actually park your cars in there and use it all the time. And this shows all the breezeway elevations relative to the house and the view drawings. And then I have existing drawings showing the existing house itself. I'm not sure it's really, you really need to see that. In the application package that we previously submitted, there were several photos of the existing house and the grounds around it, and you can see how much of that we're maintaining. The last one of those photographs, which was photograph number, let's see, I got the Windows hardware. Like this at the very end of the packet. And what it really talks about is the existing details that we're matching on the house. And it shows a picture of the back of the house with the slate roof and the snow guards, the copper built in and the exposed half-round gutters, the painted cedar clapboard and the siding and the trim, the painted wood shutters, the double hung and casement windows, and the wood and glass doors. And those are all of the type of elements that we're going to be matching in the new work so that it feels complementary to the old house. I think that's about it for now. Are there any questions?
Did you have other things you wanted to present on the landscaping? Or-
Yes, I
Yeah.
do. I mean, do you want to ask me questions?
Yeah, we'll-
Let Brian do the landscaping
Yeah.
first, and then we
You can
can.
run through your presentation and we can
Yeah.
follow up questions.
Great. Yeah, just put the red.
Okay, so I think we've gotten an overview of the structure. What I'd like to do, there are two parts to what I'd like to review with you is one, how the new addition relates to the landscape itself, both existing and proposed, and also to review some rehabilitation to existing wooden structures on the site that we have not touched yet, and we're seeking permission basically to repair in place in kind with what's there. So if you're looking at the plan itself, this is the existing L-shaped house that we've been referring to. This embracing shape here is the counter L. So what John has done is created an L shape and closed it to make kind of a courtyard space, which naturally forms a nice courtyard rectangle. And we've used that to form a center line between this space to create a new set of stairs that leads up from the courtyard up to the existing landscape. We're trying really to disturb as little as possible into this hillside. This plan here shows a very large white oak, which dominates the exact center of the property, which we want to preserve. We've done the construction of the pool house. We kept purposely very far away from this, and everything that we've done is to preserve that center tree. The canopy itself is absolutely gigantic, and so it's really the linchpin of the property. What we're showing on the backside, like John was alluding to, obviously the structure hugs very close to the ground on the rear of the elevation of the garage, which allows you to step down only a number of steps to be at grade already. So there's a very different experience on the front of the structure from the rear. It's an old bank house, basically. It keeps very cool. It's like a barn type of style. And what that does is it allows the person on the second floor to be much more at grade and much more connected to the ground, even though you're not on the ground floor. So I'm just showing here, a placeholder, but, there might be a garden of some sort, a vegetable garden or something like that. It might just be a lawn. So I'm trying to show enough that explains, that they're trying to embrace. I think what Brett and Alana have done, beautifully is to engage the land in a very effortless, gentle touch sort of way. And I think we're trying to make the property feel as if it's always been that way, even though we are creating, an addition to the house. Following through here, what we're doing, this is the glass breezeway. We're just creating a system of smaller walkways that connect those spaces together. And we're trying to create an event here in the center. Let me switch to the more detailed drawing. This gives the overview, but we're really only talking about a very small portion of the property right here that we're actually engaging right now. So that's what this second drawing is. So it's just a detail, obviously, of this area. And even tighter, the drawing here shows more. The red box is really the area that we're working inside of. So part of what we're trying to do here is to create a private play space where when the packages and deliveries and everything else stays out here, and like John also mentioned, you need an area to turn around and to keep vehicles, because there is I think it's a 35-foot grade change from the street all the way on up. This driveway actually even feels separate from the house itself, which is a nice feeling that you're not sure where that leads exactly. So what we're trying to do is create more of a private courtyard space here that's for active play for children, roller skating, those type of activities where there's no danger of any sort of, the mail, there's package deliveries, all that sort of thing that are involved in modern life. So that's what we want to keep out to this space here. What we're showing in this space is a sunken generator air conditioning area. So again, to try to be as small as possible, I believe that's what this is illustrating right here. So that it's below grade and that all of the utilities, air conditioners, everything are out of sight. And this is a very central space to the house. So we're trying to make it look very garden-esque in that location. Again, I'm trying to offer ideas without being hyper-specific and tying them to them. But this is a very central spot on the main axis of the house and on the main axis of the addition. So it's a natural place to do some sort of garden itself, whether it's a circle, whether it's a formal garden, it's really yet to be determined. But again, I wanted to show the way the structure would be engaging with the property. And then this is just completing a way that you're able to circumnavigate around the structure itself, being able to get around the house easily in a way that predictably that you're being able to come back out the other side is a nice reassuring thing, both for service and also just for the different spaces of the house. I don't think there's too much more. I'm happy to answer questions, but I just wanted to show you roughly what we're doing here. So let me switch over to the second part of what I wanted to show you. which is the existing structures that are on the property. Sorry. That we're looking. Sorry. Thanks. So just revisiting the overall, this is a historic structure that was actually part of a larger piece of property. So this structure here has its reciprocal part on this side, and this is a centerpiece of the whole larger garden. So half of the old historic garden resides on the Tansman property. So it consists of two pieces. There's this part, which is an arched colonnade with existing stucco and brick piers. And then there is a trellis on top of it. What I'd like to point out, and I think you'll see in the photographs, is the old trellis has long since disappeared, and there have been subsequent like restorations, but the boards are laid flat instead of the way you'd want the strength to be because it's snuck underneath the vines, which is great for preserving the vines, but the space keeps coming down. So the state of the actual trellis right now is to the point where they're putting 2x4s underneath there to prevent the structure from coming down. So it's really something that wants to be addressed as soon as possible. What I'm showing here is basically replacing it in kind, but trying to be more similar to what I think the original structure would have looked like, just using wider pieces of lumber, very natural, and just basically trying to preserve the vine that's currently on top of it. It's a mix of wisteria, trumpet vine, climbing hydrangea, pretty much everything that will grow is there. So what we're trying to do is to work with one of the forester companies that we work with, that we can build almost one beam at a time to keep the vine, because it's a beautiful old vine, and to keep it while we're restoring it. So this is the arched kind of colonnade part of it. And this is the other part, which is just a flat piece, which again is the center point of the old garden, but it consists of just 4 stucco piers. And again, you can see what exists and what we're trying to rehabilitate it to. I think we will certainly do some historic. I know that I've seen pictures in the archives. If we can find something to match exactly what it was, that that would be something that we'd look into. The last exhibit, which is in your packet, is an overview of the existing impervious and the proposed impervious coverage. I just wanted to talk about that just to show what is existing and what is proposed, and how we're underneath the threshold of what's allowable by quite a significant portion. I'm looking at the numbers here. We still have about 3,700 square feet remaining, which is a pretty sizable area. So even with what is admittedly a larger interior courtyard, in addition, we still have 5 or 6 percentage points of the total property is still beneath. I think this is the existing, which shows the existing historic terrace and the old stucco part. These are all the existing pieces. This is the current configuration of the courtyard. And you can see how we're trying to make a more graceful conclusion to the property and have that private space that's symmetrical inside that we're talking about. I'm trying to keep it brief. I don't have the same sonorous voice that John James does, so I will yield at this point. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, at this point, I'll look to my commissioners if they have any comments. So, Brad, Karen?
I just had a question on the garage. It's commented about a lift. Is that going to be for people or cars?
Well, right now it's going to be a closet,
Oh, it's
and it's set up so that it could be a future lift for either people or for,
small car.
yeah. No, it won't. It's not for cars.
Okay, it's not for cars. Okay.
No, it's very small. It's outside, opposite the stairs. It's
Alright.
not inside the garage. No, we're not lifting cars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's really to try to make all the floors in the house barrier free.
Okay.
That's really the purpose. Mhm.
Just one question, but the lift that's in the middle of the house, that is being put in though, right?
We're gonna do it as a big pantry right now.
Okay,
and-
so both,
But we're stacking that with a closet up above so there could be an elevator at any time.
okay, I got you. So
That's-
the possibility of there being an elevator.
It's
is both
sized
spots.
for a future elevator, but they'd prefer to have a pantry now. And they're lucky and they have very young legs and 3 young children. So, but really when we're planning a house of this size and things like that, that's one of the things we always do is try to make it so that the family could age in place there.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. On my right, anyone have comments or questions?
I just had one question just to understand on your left side elevation, on the window above the new entry door, is that the canopy or?
What sheet is that?
Page 21.
It says left side elevation,
Yes.
and the new entry door above the window.
There is going to be a small canopy above the door, but what you're seeing is the bay projection from the second
Oh, from the
floor
window.
up
Okay.
above. Yeah, that's the bay projection, and the shingle slope back down. But you'll see that there's a small flat canopy over the door with a bracket on the left-hand side.
That confirms.
No. What's that?
Comment?
Yeah, I was writing stuff down, but then as Johnny went through, you kept answering my questions. So that was good. So you've certainly been here before, you know what to present. I had questions about the elevation of the addition will be slightly lower than the existing, looks like, by.
Yeah, the existing house is about 29 feet tall.
Yeah.
And the new carriage house is about 24 feet tall. So it's 5 feet lower. In some of the perspectives where you see it closer to you, it appears bigger, but it is 5 feet lower
Yeah.
than the main house.
No, that you had an elevation that showed that
Right.
pretty well. So I don't have any questions. I'm just going to read the comments from Barton Ross, our external consultant on this. He has reviewed. I'm assuming you've been talking
Yes,
to him
we-
about this. So yeah,
yeah.
it seems like it. There's definitely input. And I'll just read his recommendation, saying that established by ordinance, the HPC seeks to protect and preserve the architectural heritage and history of the town by ensuring any new development maintains the character, scale, and feel of historic buildings to define the district. Because these goals do not appear to be adversely impacted by his application, Barton recommends this application be approved with any conditions put forth by the commission. So he's definitely in favor of what you're doing here. I don't necessarily see any questions that I have. I will open the floor up to the public if there's any comments from the public at this time. Come forward and please state your name. Thank you.
Sure. Hi, my name is David Schlossman. I live at 74 Taylor Road, so it's on the corner of Taylor and Western. So our driveway is across Western from the applicant's driveway. And, the plans seem very lovely and, very beautiful, and I'm really not here to be a stick in the mud at all. But I have to disagree with one thing that Mr. James said, and that this is a major renovation that's going to affect the flow of traffic where we live. And there's no stop sign at the top of Taylor Road. And at times the traffic is rerouted and we have a lot of traffic on Western. There's kids going to school and very often there are people walking their dogs on Western all the time. So what I would like, for the sake of safety, because there's going to be a lot of activity on the site, is for the applicant to apply for no parking ordinance on our side of Western from the corner of Taylor to 90 Western. I mean, we have worked very closely with the applicant in the past. They redid the road on their side of the house, and we have done a good job to keep the traffic moving. And I just want to make sure that cooperation continues during the construction.
Yep. Thank you. And I think those you certainly take into account. But you don't have any comments on the historic character or
No.
Okay.
No, because it's above it's
Sure.
way above the street, and
Sure.
you probably can't even see it
Right.
from where we are.
Right.
Okay.
Well, thank you for your comment. Appreciate that.
Okay. You're welcome. Okay.
Yep. Thank you. Anyone else from the public? Okay. If there's no further comments or questions for the commissioners, then do I have a motion to approve the application?
Motion to approve.
A second?
Second.
Okay. We'll take the vote.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
I'm gonna try this. Mr. Talavada,
Yes.
Mr. Frankel,
Yes.
Mrs. Gaylord,
Yes.
Mr. Jenkins,
Yes.
Mrs. Black.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you and good luck with that. Please heed the concerns of your neighbor as we move forward. Thank you. All right, so that was number 5. I believe that we have the applicant for 141 Forest is here, right? That's okay. We just put you on hold. All right, so this is item number 4. We're gonna go back one step. Application number 569, 141 Forest Drive, block 3004, lot 3, the non-contributing property to the Short Hills Park Historic District. Richard and Stephanie Gelvin applicants.
We put it up on the screen. Oh, it is. Oh, perfect. Okay. So this is a little different than what I submitted 2 weeks ago. I accidentally duplicated the 4th house, and now these have.
So
That was
we'll just
the
submit it as
photo,
Exhibit A.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, great.
you may have noticed there were 2 of the same house.
But that's the only change.
That is
Okay.
yes, that is
Okay.
the only change.
Okay,
Do you wanna see this? You guys wanna pass this
It,
around?
it's up.
It's up here,
Same,
too.
okay.
Okay.
What is the difference?
All right, there was,
So-
yeah,
It's the same.
Last time we were here, you asked about the surrounding houses, so I added that page in, and I accidentally in Photoshop, yours right there, you have 2 of the same house.
Yeah,
So
it's,
now I have
cedar.
the one I missed.
so this is a regulatory application. I think you came last month as a, sort of a guidance
Yep.
application, right? So
Yep.
we are gonna swear you in for this,
Okay.
for this testimony. Okay,
I
so.
think I did
This is for regulatory application for tear down of existing house due to fire damage and construction of a new single-family residence with other site improvements. So you can swear her in now.
You got Stephanie Gelman?
No,
Oh.
Melanie Moran.
Okay. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you'll provide in this application to the commission tonight will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Great. Well, welcome, and please proceed with your presentation.
Okay, I'm Melanie Moran from SEK Architects, and we're here for our clients. They would like approval to demolish the existing house that was built in the 80s and has suffered from fire damage, water damage, and build new construction. The new house, should we go through the?
Yes, sorry.
That's okay. The new house is relatively the same size. It's a 3-car garage facing the same way, not moving that footprint. Initially, we planned to renovate what was there, but upon further investigation, it's not in good condition. So we proceeded with a new floor plan. Similar in volume, we're not seeking any variances. We fit under everything for coverage. And then the second floor, there is an attic, 3rd floor, with some bedrooms, and then this is the front elevation. So the materials we've chosen are going to be more in line with the neighborhood: slate for the roof, stucco, real field stone, red copper roof. One of Barton's, his one recommendation was that we add a chimney, which I was happy, so we added a chimney. We kind of just wanted to design something that fit in with the character of the neighborhood better and the styles in the Tudor surrounding neighborhood. I'm gonna go through. That's the rear elevation. The garage is staying fairly the same massing. The house is kind of staying proportionally the same. We just broke it up with different volumes and tried to make it look a little bit more appealing for the neighborhood. There'll be floral trim, painted, bluestone patios, vertical board siding. I think all of the materials are in the packet. So I think they might have some of the old. And then there is there's the side. Yeah, there are the materials, slate and stone and stucco, all real materials. This is the massing of the existing house. We're removing the circular drive just so that we can kind of use that coverage elsewhere. And then if you go to the proposed, it's similar in size. We went forward a little bit to give them a little bit more backyard, but the sizing is really the same. The driveway is the same. The turn into the garage is the same. And instead, we just made a path to the front door and a little circular garden pool in the relatively same location. This is what the existing house looks like. I believe it was 1981 that it was built. It's in the application. And internally, there is a lot of damage. There's the slate roof, cut sheet, and then the trim. Marvin windows, mostly casement, I think all casement actually. And then there's a map with the existing houses around. So a lot of the houses in this part of the road have already been replaced. 3 and 4 are the ones directly across from it. And then the top left is next to it. I think that's it. Okay, and then here, if you wanted me to do the 3D. So I think my only comments last time were the surrounding neighborhood and then the chimney, which we addressed both of those.
Okay, anything else?
No.
Okay.
Any questions?
Sure, let's start this side. Any questions on the proposed replacement? Brad?
Looks much better with the chimney.
Yeah, I think I actually am gonna make it a little bigger, but that's.
That's functional?
There are fireplaces. I don't think that it is going to be. If we make it a gas fireplace, we'll have to add, kind of the flues above and cover them. It might stay, the caps that make it kind of ugly, it might stay decorative. There is a fireplace, an exterior fireplace here that will vent out the side and tuck it hidden.
In terms of volume, you said it's roughly the same.
It is, yeah. It's
Height-wise?
just not as boxy. Same height, yeah, under 35.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Average
definitely
grade plane.
a little more character to it. So.
Yeah.
So the lower left, that's the view from the road, right?
Yeah, the view from if you were. Yeah, so if you approached this way, it would be on your left here, and then coming up, turning up to the driveway where this was the roundabout or the U, now you can pull in here. There's not going to be driveway in the front yard anymore.
And the top right, that's the back.
This
view.
is
So you
the
have,
rear,
some
yep.
Sunrooms off.
Yep, this is an eat-in kitchen, and this is an open screened-in porch with doors into the living room and a exterior fireplace, indoor-outdoor fireplace.
The material on the trim, that's wood or what is that?
No, it is like a pressed ash floral. I think they changed. It's now like new trim, it's called. Looks like wood. It's paintable like wood. It does not have that sheen that AZEK or anything has. You would not notice that it's not wood.
Let me read Barton's comments. I'm assuming you've been working with him.
Yep.
Obviously, you have chimneys. So.
Yep.
I'll just read the findings. Again, we're here to do what we do. And he states that because the goals of the commission don't appear to be adversely impacted by this application, it recommends that this be approved with the following conditions as imposed by the commission. Because of the scope of work, the construction documents submitted for a building permit will also be submitted to the Historic Preservation Commission in PDF format.
Yeah.
Although we don't review paint colors, we encourage you to select color schemes that are compatible with the surrounding context, to create a sense of visual continuity district. You know, I think you showed the other, buildings there, and it's kind of eclectic in the area, so it doesn't seem that out of place, so it seems to be held to. And then, the proposed exterior renovations to existing structure are in keeping with the town's guidelines and standards for rehabilitation. So it seems like you're meeting everything that he had asked for. So, all right. With that, I'll ask if there's any comments from the public on this. Okay.
I just have one little comment.
Oh, I can't see.
I'm
Sorry.
sorry, I just have one little comment. This is beautiful. And I was just curious why the homeowners didn't want to do a full masonry fireplace that you can just connect gas into, so it has more of a historic aesthetic longevity to the rest of the home. I just, because we were talking about the fireplace, that was just my.
If we use this to vent their fireplace, we have to put those metal caps, and then this kind of allows us to make it look historic. And I mean, yes, I would prefer a wood burning, real historic masonry.
Okay, I mean, most masonry fireplaces look more historic than gas vented, but that's just my only comment. It's a beautiful house.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Then, if there are no other questions, do we have a motion to approve the application?
I'd like to make the motion to approve.
All right, second, please.
Second.
Take a roll.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. Talavana,
Yes.
Mr. Frankel,
Yes.
Mrs. Gaylor,
Yes.
Mr. Jenkins,
Yes.
Mrs. Black.
Yes.
Okay, great. Good luck with that. Thank you. Number 4. Great. So next we have application number 576. This is 445 Wyoming Avenue, block 303, lot 6. This is a contributing property to the Wyoming Historic District. Gabriel and Edward Cochran applicants, a regulatory application to construct a one-story addition on the Chestnut side of the building in a one-car garage. An existing undersized garage will be demolished. So we have the applicants and their architect to be sworn in.
Okay. All right, hi, everyone. My name is Gabrielle Cockrum.
You just need to be sworn in.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna-
all at the same time?
Yes,
Yep.
you may. And then we'll take the names. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you'll provide tonight on this application will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thanks. Go ahead.
Okay, hi. So I'm Gabrielle Cochran from 445 Wyoming Avenue. We moved into the home about 9 years ago. We had our 2 children there, which were 3 and 5 now. We adored the home the first minute we saw it. We put an offer in immediately. I mean, luckily we didn't have much competition because the interior wasn't renovated since the 70s. So I mean, as the year after we moved in, we did the second floor and we did the attic, which we converted to 2 offices. We left the bottom floor as is to see what we would want to do in the future as we had kids and grew into the home. And honestly, we did not want to do a major renovation now. We absolutely didn't want to do it, but the floors are falling apart. The wood is splintering. The kitchen is falling apart. The doors are falling off, the hinges. Anyway, so like above the old oven, the cabinet doors are actually warped. So that's what precipitated all of this. I mean, we have to do a renovation to continue living there. And as we were going through it and we were figuring out ways to figure out, maybe a more updated floor plan on the bottom floor, we realized that we couldn't get everything we wanted or what I guess modern day homes require in terms of sizes of appliances and so forth. So, and we don't require that much additional space, just a little bit to get, let's say the, sub-zero fridge or the appliances that we need to get the home that we want. But okay. But and we were considering, expanding towards the back and maybe to the side, and we had a lot of thoughts. But we decided to go with the Chestnut Street side because, well, for 3 main reasons. I mean, and I don't want to diverge, so I'm just gonna look at my notes. But so doing the Chestnut Street side accomplishes three things. One thing is that, it's south facing, adding more windows there will make the house, or at least the middle of the house, a lot brighter, because right now it's incredibly dark. So no matter what we wanted to do, we wanted to have more light in the middle of the house. So we definitely wanted to add the windows there, and we thought just to get that little space we need, if we were going to add windows there and cut through that space, we may as well just, get that 100, 200 square feet of space we need to add the appliances we need. So, and most importantly to my husband, really, and to me, I think I love it too, but there are 3 rooms on the side of the house that have historical plaster crown moldings that are really gorgeous, and we want to preserve them. And if we went through the back, we'd be knocking them down, basically. So the crown moldings were a big reason we were drawn to the house. He wants to keep them, and as do I. I think I was more willing to go towards the back if this was going to be an issue, and he was absolutely hard no on that. So, but I figured I would just throw that in there. But anyway, and also I think that doing that side of the house on Chestnut Street just makes the exterior look a little more attractive with the bigger windows, rather than that little window in the middle of the house that doesn't really fit in with the rest of it. So that was really our reasoning, and that's why we decided to go this route. But we generally, we think that it's minimal work for the most part. We want to keep with the historical integrity of the house. We don't want to make big changes that don't fit the house or the neighborhood, and I hope we've accomplished that here. And I think Tim did a great job. So, so I'll turn it over to him to clarify.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
I don't know if you ever got my name.
Yeah.
Okay. Before I start, the last 2 cases, I think you have to open the carry. I just didn't know if you knew that. The last 2 cases that are on the agenda. They're 2 of my cases.
We're going to carry them.
You're going to carry.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure because
Yes.
they're already noticed. And
Yes.
it probably turns out we could have presented tonight after all, but Barton thought the agenda was too full and, pushed us. But we're not prepared to present tonight anyway.
You're okay.
All right, so the site is 445 Wyoming. It's really what we're trying to do is construct a small 1-story addition on the Chestnut side and remove an existing sort of undersized garage and build a new garage. Okay? The first drawings that are here are the last drawings in the back of your packet, which are what we would call the E drawings. They're the existing conditions, right? The existing basement. The existing first floor has presently the kitchen in the front. Probably one of the coolest features of the house itself is this 4-sided fireplace. It's actually there. And I don't know if it's actually in working order. They're all coal fireplaces, so I don't think they actually would work for wood. They're all coal jobs, but they're all opened up and exposed, not covered over like in a lot of cases. But the kitchen's in the front. We want to relocate the kitchen and clean up the interior. Is really all we're doing. I come up. Oh, here's that existing garage. It's small, and then I come up the second floor. There's actually no work going on. The third floor is the same, and the existing elevations, this is a pretty building, and the elevation's been retained. It's, I don't know, I think built about 1873 or something like that.
The Wyoming walking tour is
1873. Okay, that's what David Gibson's report says, 1873. And I always just go to David's report just because I just known him forever. So, I'm taking it out of my HPC drawings, which are on the top of your set. Right? They say HPC down in the lower right-hand corner. The existing survey and the proposed survey, and this little area that we have sort of the hash line across in the front of the building, that's the addition that we're talking about tonight. It's a 1-story building. And then you can see how we've demolished the existing garage and then constructed this new garage. Those are really the 2 additions that are going on here. But move on to my first floor, I'll just walk you through it quickly. It lets us take the existing entry, I'm on HPC 2. If you look at the demo layer, you can see the existing stairway, which is a little bit to the right of the new stairway. And it's dotted out, and I shouldn't call it the demo layer, it's the dotted layer. We come up, we come into the existing front porch and into the building. What we've really done is just straighten the building up across the front, move the front door sort of up Chestnut about 4 feet, built our new portico and created a little mudroom, powder room, and then we're able to take where the existing kitchen is and turn it into a family room. But we left everything inside. Part of what Gabrielle was talking about before is the dining room is where all that plaster molding is. We left it in place. I'm on HPC 2, my sheet. Oh, on the big things, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You can see kind of how we're pulling out a stairway that was in the middle of the whole show, and we're kind of cleaning up the interior. Like there's a lot of little interior demo going on so that we can actually plant a nice sized kitchen into the corner, get a kitchen, use the existing dining room as the dining room, create a little eating area, and create a space that's probably 6 foot bigger to be now our family room, which we're calling here in the drawings a living room. And it's where the old kitchen was. Like if you look, you can see the old kitchen sink. But everything else has remained in place. Then we come to the left and you can see the existing garage and then our new garage. Right? And our new garage kind of looks big in relationship to the existing, but that's because the existing garage is like 8 feet wide, 15 feet long, just so you know. It's not like a crazy situation. But that's where our addition is really going on. When I get upstairs, I'm going out of my HPC 3 sheet, there's nothing. Because we really have no work going on. All we did was remove an existing stairway. You know, we've left the front stairway, which is the original stair in the house. This was a back stairway that we're actually pulling out. And we're just gonna circulate through the front stairway. It's a little weird. I missed it on the first floor, but there's actually 2 stairs in the house. And the front is a little neglected because it's on the Wyoming side and the street access is really on Chestnut. So we're hoping by removing this stairway and taking the focus back over here, we can get back to the front of the building. Then I come up, I take my elevations. I tried to use your easel, but I'm never using it again. It's too wicked, it's driving me crazy. I can't take it. If I come to the front of my building, right, everything is really the same, except we infilled this area with the new building. And I think inside the packet, there's a before and after rendering, which is pretty good. I'll show it to you. It's hard to really see what went on here. You know, we can take all the detail that was in the building and it's in the front portion now, and we recreated all that detail. And all of the materials are all natural materials, all matching this. Then I come around to the other elevations. There's really no work going on. You know, a couple of little window movements, but that's really all that's happening on this side. This is kind of what my guys called the rear. It's sort of, if you were looking at Wyoming, it's the right side elevation. It is kind of the rear, but you know, we got that thing of no rear yard on a corner lot. So it's a little confusing. I'm just gonna go, well, I'll show you. Gordon wanted me to document the garage a little bit, just to show you, just because we're asking to remove it. He doesn't, from his report, he doesn't have an issue with it. I think it was added in 1930 or something in the garage. It's the best the Barton and I could actually figure out. But I just want you to see, it's in a state of disrepair and it's really undersized. You can see it rotted in the corner. They kind of put some screening in there, like that rabbit screening to sort of stop stuff from crawling in. So I, at one point, was asking Barton about if he wanted any material to reuse or any of it, but he doesn't. He didn't want anything. I think he thinks he has enough stuff already up on Parsons Hill. Then our landscape plan is here. We've kind of just come and cleaned up our landscape and just added planting, really foundation planting around the perimeter, existing trees, supplemented it with trees. And I think that came later and Barton sent them to you separately. But I can pass this board
Yeah, I
around
don't
if you'd
know
like
if we
to
have
see it.
Yeah,
You know?
we have this, which is kind of similar
Yeah.
to.
No, that came out really well, huh?
It's just, I think it's a little.
Oh, because we were waiting for the land, yeah. We were hoping to supplement that and then Barton was after us to
Yeah,
get
'cause-
the application. I guess I'm going to you, but I shouldn't be. I should be done. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think of you as like the tree guy. That's why we're.
Well, the only question is, and we'll get to it, is the fencing, right? I think Barton talked about.
Yeah, Barton wanted to talk
Yeah,
about that.
so
So
it's
here's the-
relevant to talk about that.
The rendering of the proposed building. Right, our new structure is really this structure that's been fit into the existing building. And we matched the window pattern, we really matched everything in. I mean, the intent of this addition is that it looks like it was always here. The window that's in the front right now is undersized because it's over the sink and it looks a little awkward. We actually, I think, improved the building in this case, so. I think I would say a relatively easy one, but I hate to say that. So really all we're asking for is approval for this one-story addition and the garage and approval for the demolition of the existing garage. It's all of the materials of all the new construction, all match existing. All of the wood, the existing wood, and the new wood is all easily obtained. It's all really common stuff. Everything is still made. So there's no problem matching anything. Even the little buttons that we put into the fascia board there matching to these buttons. It's all really easy to do. It just, needs somebody to take a little time and probably a client that cares enough to, get it done. And
Mr. Kelly,
luckily,
is
I was
is this
able
an
to pull that
exhibit,
off.
Or are these included in the?
They're really not. I didn't make them an exhibit.
Yeah, okay, so
Yeah, I'm sorry.
that'll be exhibit A1. Let's mark that.
But all of the materials, the windows are a thermal pane window with a simulated divided light on the outside, simulated divided light inside. Like they're only where we have divided lights. Like I think we have one there, and we're matching some of the vocabulary here. But here they're all open because we left them open. This one is divided, but we just matched into the architecture of the building and. These windows, are good quality windows. They, not a snap-in button or anything like that. So all of our term, I'm looking really at page 17 of the application, just so everybody knows the zoning all conforms. And it was kind of good because that new front yard setback, which I think you probably know about, right? It actually is very good here because it works for this house, even though it doesn't always work for all of the houses, but the front yard setback has been modified in town, and it allows for this to go in without a variance. So, and I think it's helpful to the building itself. The lot coverage is still only at 30%, even though we're allowed to be at 35%. So the lot is really underutilized. This addition is small. gross floor area is only at 20%, allowed to be 30%. So the building is not massive, and our addition isn't at all massive. Even building coverage is under by 4%. Right? So there's no kind of site saturation going on here. I'm at Barton's report now. Right, yeah, Barton calls it 1873, calls it a 2.5-story stick, clapboard, wood shakes, all of that being matched. The brick foundation also being matched. All those little decorative elements are being matched in this building. This is a case where we're doing an addition that is compatible with the building in such a way that it appears as if this addition was already there and not. This isn't a job where this is a addition that says that if it was, it could easily be removed later and there would be no destruction to the building. This is an addition that I think is actually helpful to the building and helps the window placement. And even from a historical standpoint, it probably makes sense to get the kitchen out of the front of the house a little bit, you know. And it also helps us dramatically. So I guess I would say that Barton appears to have no problems with this addition. He gave me a quick thumbs up, actually, which is not normal. Just so everybody knows. No, he was fine with it, and I think it actually makes sense on this house. Is there any questions?
Yeah, well, go ahead.
I just have one question.
Yeah.
In terms of the chimney that's back here in the living room, that exists, is that being completely demoed?
Like that four-sided one?
The one, no, not the four-sided one, the one back here that's in the old living room, that's gonna be where the kitchen is now?
It's not gonna be an interior of the home, but we need to keep it.
But it'll still be there,
Yeah,
so
we can keep it.
externally it'll still be, okay.
Externally, then.
Okay. Yeah, that was my only question.
No.
Okay. A couple of questions. One, Barton brought up about the placement of the landscaping to hide the HVAC.
Yeah,
Right.
he wants, we had shrubed, in front of this, the HVAC, right in the middle here. And he wanted us to pull the fence
Right.
forward in front of the.
Is that acceptable?
Yeah, yeah, it's fine.
Okay, all right. Because I think we'll have to just amend that to include that.
Okay.
And then I note on your drawing of the new garage,
Yeah.
a window, but it doesn't show in your rendering.
Wow, well done. That window's being eliminated. Barton wanted me to
Eliminated.
eliminate it, yes.
Interesting.
The one over the door in the front?
Yeah,
Yeah, he didn't like it.
over the garage.
Yeah,
Okay, there's no, it's just crawl space.
this
right?
one,
Yeah.
right, that little
Yeah.
window we had there, he took it
Yeah.
out.
I mean, the only thing I see is I like the balance of the color and everything. And,
Mhm.
you don't have anything like that on the garage, but maybe it separates it. So
Yeah, I think,
I thought with the window you could have played around with it. So, anyways,
Well, my guys, we put the window in originally, but then,
I'll yield to Barton. That's fine. So yeah, yeah. But outside of that, I think that and the materials, the wood material for the garage is going to match the house, same material.
yes.
And the roofing is the same. I can see.
Yeah, and everything's easy to get.
Yeah.
There's nothing on this house that's difficult.
Right,
to get.
right. And you gave us the info on the doors to the garage.
Yes,
right?
yes, like a carriage door.
Yeah, okay. Okay, well, I think that's great. Are there any comments from the public on this application? No? Okay. All right, if there are no, well, I mean, you read Barton's comments, so I think we're good there. So, all right, if no further comments or questions, then do I have a motion to approve the application as is with the one note about the positioning of the fencing? Motion approved.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, take a roll, please.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Catalavada? Mr. Frankel?
Yes.
Mrs. Gaylord?
Yes.
Mr. Jenkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Black?
Yes.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
All right, so next on the agenda is application number 577, 122 Cypress Street. This is going to be carried to the next meeting without notice, right? Because they've already been noticed, without further notice. And then application number 8, application number 578, 12 Chestnut Street. That is also being carried to the next meeting without further notice. That concludes the new business on the agenda. Open meeting to the public. Are there any folks in the public who would like to comment on historic preservation? Okay, that is done. Memorializations. We have some memorializations from last month meeting. There are 3. I believe we got the 529 this afternoon, right?
Correct.
So we have all 3. All right, so there are application number 572, 51 Linden Street, application number 529, 144 Highland Ave, and application number 573, 1 Moraine Place. These all need to be individually memorialized? Yes. Okay, so, all right, so we need to take a vote from
Do you want to tell, it's, who's eligible? for
yeah,
this?
it's gonna be,
It's
it's
just gonna
gonna
be
be
the
you
two
two.
of us,
Yeah,
okay.
right.
Say no.
Right.
So it's just the two.
It's just Brad
It's just
and
the two of
Jessica.
us.
Right,
Yeah,
it's the
just
same
two of
as the
them,
minutes.
so,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
fine.
first one is application number 572, 51 Linden Street, Michael Tabitha Gillum applicants. This has been, approved. I don't know if there are conditions here, but we've read through it, so we motion to approve,
Motion to approve?
and then
I'll
second.
second it. There's no need to take a vote, it's on the two of you.
Right, so, all right, great.
Easy enough.
Number 2 is application number 529, 144 Highland Avenue, Kim Reichard and Tim Milton applicants. I don't have that in front of me, but that was emailed out today, so motion approved,
I'll make a motion to approve.
and second.
Second?
Great. And number 3, application number 573, 1 Moraine Place, Mark and Shanna Pantier applicants. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
And a second.
Second.
Great. So those 3 memorializations have been approved. There's consent agenda items. I don't think we have any, right? Yeah, okay. So that is finished. Discussion items, we'll talk about those next month since the chair is not here. With that, does anyone have anything they want to bring up? Otherwise, we are, I motion to conclude this meeting. Have a second.
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 We are adjourned.
Good job, Zach.